Let's be honest. Most marketing advice you find online feels like it was written by someone who's never actually had to sell anything in their life. It's either vague nonsense like, "Oh, know your audience," or tactical garbage that worked in but died faster than Google+. The truth? The best marketers aren't necessarily the ones with the fanciest strategies or the biggest budgets. They're the ones who understand how the human brain actually works, not just in theory, but in practice. Because here's what nobody wants to admit. People don't make buying decisions based on logic. They make emotional choices and then justify them with logic afterward. That's not me talking trash, that's decades of consumer psychology research backing it up. So today, we're exploring the 10 psychological tricks that actually get people to open their wallets. Not just nod along while secretly shopping somewhere else. These aren't cheap hacks or manipulative garbage. They're fundamental principles about how humans make decisions that most businesses completely miss. And look, I've tested all of these personally. Some in my own business, others with clients who've seen their conversion rates double or triple overnight just by making these tweaks. So let's get into it. Trick 1, loss aversion. When's the last time you felt that kick of panic when you thought you were about to lose something? Maybe it was a final day of a sale, or an email saying, "And your cart is about to expire." The feeling isn't random, it's actually hardwired into your brain. Humans hate losing things way more than we enjoy gaining them. It's called loss aversion. And studies show we feel the pain of loss roughly twice as strongly as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. Think about that, twice as strongly. This isn't some minor preference. It's a fundamental driver of human behavior. So why do most businesses focus all their marketing on what customers will gain, buy our product, and get these benefits? It's backwards. The smarter approach is showing people what they'll lose by not taking action. Instead of sign up and save $50, try. Don't miss out on $50 in savings. Same offer, completely different psychological impact. When I switched the copy on my client's landing page from "Pen exclusive content" to "Don't miss exclusive content," conversions jumped 38% overnight. Nothing else changed, just tapping into that fear of missing out. The best part? This works everywhere. Email subject lines with "Don't miss" or "Last chance" consistently outperform positive framed ones. Limited time offers work because of loss aversion. Countdown timers work because of loss aversion. But here's where most businesses screw up. They rely on fake scarcity. Only 2 seats left when there's actually unlimited spots. People can smell that fakeness from a mile away, and once they do, your credibility is shot. Real scarcity, though? That's marketing gold. Trick 2, the decoy effect. Have you ever wondered why Netflix has 3 pricing tiers? Or why Apple always releases 3 versions of the iPhone? It's not because they think customers need all those choices. It's because they're using the decoy effect to push you toward the option they actually want you to pick. The decoy effect works like this. When people have to choose between 2 options, the decision can be tough. But add a third option that's clearly worse than one of the original options? Suddenly, the decision becomes ridiculously easy. Let me give you a real example. Williams-Sonoma once offered a bread maker for $275, and it wasn't selling well. So what did they do? They added a nearly identical model for $415. Guess what happened? Sales of the $275 model nearly doubled. Why? Because suddenly, $275 looked like a bargain compared to $415 for basically the same thing. This happens with pricing pages all the time. The middle option is usually what the company wants you to buy. They include a cheaper option that's missing key features, and an expensive option that's overkill for most people. The middle one feels just right thanks to the decoys on either side. I tested this with a client who sold online courses. When we offered just 2 tiers, $97 and $397, about 70% chose the cheaper option. But when we added a $797 tier with just a few extra bonuses, suddenly 65% chose the $397 option. Revenue more than doubled with the exact same traffic. The key is making sure your decoy is obviously worse in terms of value, not just more expensive. If your premium option actually delivers way more value proportionally, you've designed it wrong. Trick 3, social proof. Here's a brutal truth. People don't trust what you say about your product, but they'll believe what others say about it every single time. You can have the slickest marketing copy in the world, but one genuine customer review will outperform it. We're pack animals. When we're uncertain, we look to others to guide our decisions. It's not laziness, it's an evolutionary shortcut. Why risk figuring something out yourself when you can learn from others who've already taken the risk? That's why testimonials, reviews, case studies, and user numbers are so powerful. But most businesses implement social proof terribly. They bury testimonials at the bottom of the page, Or they use generic garbage like a great product, would buy again. That sounds completely fake even if it's real. The brands crushing it with social proof are putting it front and center. They're getting specific. This product helped me increase my email open rates by 37% in just 2 weeks. They're showing customer results, not just customer opinions. Amazon doesn't just show reviews, they show verification badges. They show which reviews come from verified purchases. They show helpful votes. Each layer adds credibility. When I worked with an e-commerce client, we A/B tested product pages with and without review counts prominently displayed next to the product name. The pages showing 48 stars 342 reviews. Right next to the product title saw a 29% increase in add to cart rates. People needed that validation before they'd even consider the product details. But here's the advanced move. Instead of just showing positive reviews, show reviews that address objections. If your product is expensive, highlight a review that talks about how it was worth every penny. If it's complicated, showcase someone talking about how easy it was to figure out. This overcomes specific objections way better than you defending your own product. Trick 4. The paradox of choice. We've been fed this idea that more choices equal more freedom, and more freedom equals happier customers. But actual research shows the exact opposite. Remember that famous jam study? Researchers set up a tasting booth with 24 different jams, and only 3% of people bought any. Then they reduced it to just 6 jams, and 30% of people purchased them. 10 times more sales with fewer options. Too many choices paralyze people. Your brain has to compare each option against every other option, and the mental math gets exhausting real fast. So what do people do when they're overwhelmed? They walk away and choose nothing. This is why the most effective sales pages don't give you 15 different plans or packages. They guide you toward the best option for your situation. Look at Apple. They could make 50 different versions of each iPhone, but they don't. They make just enough models to cover the main user categories, and that's it. I tested this with a client who sold custom t-shirts online. They initially let customers choose between 12 different shirt styles, 20 colors, and endless design options. It was a mess. People would start customizing but abandon cart before finishing. We simplified it to 3 shirt styles, 6 colors, and pre-designed templates with minor customization options. Cart abandonment dropped by 38%. Revenue shot up. But the real trick is this. You don't have to actually reduce your inventory. You just need to present fewer options up front, then reveal more if customers specifically ask for them. Amazon sells literally everything, but their interface pushes you towards certain choices with badges like Amazon's Choice or Bestseller. Guide the customer's attention to the options you know work best. Their brain will thank you for it. Trick 5. Freebies. The word free is probably the most powerful word in marketing, but it's also the most misused. When something is free, people don't just value it a little bit more, they overvalue it completely out of proportion. A $15 item discounted to $5 feels like a $10 savings. But that same $15 item discounted to $0? It feels like you're getting way more than $15 in value. In his book, Predictably Irrational, Dan Ariely ran an experiment offering people a choice between a $10 Amazon gift card for $7, a $3 profit, or a $20 gift card for $18, a $2 profit. Most people chose the $10 card because the $3 profit was bigger. But when he changed it to a free $10 gift card versus a $20 gift card for $7, suddenly everyone wanted the free option, even though the $20 card was now the better deal at $13 profit. That's the irrational power of free. People will pass up better deals just to get something for nothing. I've seen this with countless businesses. A software company I worked with tried offering a 14-day free trial versus a $1 trial. The conversion rate to the free trial was 5 times higher, even though the difference was literally $1. But here's where businesses mess up. They offer the wrong things for free. If you give away your core product, you anchor its value at 0. Instead, give away a complimentary product, a small sample, or a stripped-down version. Costco's free samples work because they give you a taste, not the whole meal. Dropbox's free plan works because it gives you just enough storage to get hooked but not enough for serious use. The New York Times lets you read a few free articles each month, not unlimited access. The psychological principle is called reciprocity. When someone gives us something for free, we feel obligated to give something back, even if it's just our attention or email address. Trick 6. The anchoring effect. Have you ever noticed how furniture stores always have those 70% off sales? Or how SaaS companies show their annual plans with save 20% underneath? They're using a psychological principle called anchoring, and it works because your brain is fundamentally lazy. When making decisions about value, your brain needs a reference point. The first number you see becomes that reference, the anchor, and everything afterward is compared to it. So when that furniture store says a couch is normally $3,000, now $999, your brain anchors on the $3,000 figure. Even if the couch was never worth $3,000, and even if you know it's a marketing tactic, your brain still can't help but feel like you're getting a deal. I've seen businesses double their conversion rates just by showing the original price crossed out next to the sale price. The higher that original anchor, the better the deal feels. But anchoring works beyond just discounts. Ever notice how salespeople start by showing you the most expensive option first? Once you've seen the $10,000 package, suddenly the $3,000 package feels reasonable by comparison. Apple does this masterfully. They'll announce the Pro Max iPhone at $1,299, then the regular Pro at $999. And suddenly that $999 model feels like the sensible choice, even though it's still a $1,000 phone. I tested this with a client who sold online courses. When we changed the sales page to first show a $2,997 VIP package that few people bought before showing the $997 standard package, sales of the standard package increased by 44%. The anchor made the main offering feel like a bargain. The key is setting the anchor high enough to create contrast, but not so high that it feels completely disconnected from reality. And ideally, your anchor shouldn't just be a made-up number. It should have some plausible justification, like comparable products or the value of included components. Trick 7. Storytelling. Here's a fact that should terrify most marketers: features and benefits get forgotten, but stories get remembered and retold. When I say Nike, you don't immediately think about their shoe materials. You think about Michael Jordan flying through the air or Colin Kaepernick taking a stand. That's because Nike knows that facts tell, but stories sell. Your brain is literally hardwired for storytelling. When you hear a story with tension, character development, and emotional stakes, your brain releases oxytocin, the same chemical released when you bond with other people. Stories don't just entertain us, they create actual neurological connection. But most businesses are terrible at storytelling. They think throwing in a random customer testimonial counts as a story. It doesn't. A real marketing story has these elements: a relatable character facing a significant challenge, struggling through obstacles, and ultimately transforming because of your product or service. I worked with a fitness app that was using standard before and after testimonials with minimal impact. When we rewrote their landing page to tell the full emotional journey of one customer, her frustrations with previous diets, her skepticism about trying one more thing, the specific moment she realized this app was different, and how her life changed beyond just weight loss, conversion rates shot up 67%. The best marketing stories aren't about your company or product. They're about your customer. Your product is just the tool that helps them become the hero of their own story. Apple rarely talks about processing power or battery specs. Instead, it shows filmmakers creating Oscar-worthy shots with an iPhone or parents capturing precious moments. The product enables the story but isn't the star of it. And if you think storytelling only works for consumer products, you're dead wrong. BB purchases are even more emotionally driven because the stakes are higher. No one ever got fired for buying IBM, right? That's fear driving decisions, not logic. Trick 8. The foot in the door technique. If I walked up to you right now and asked you to donate $500 to charity, you'd probably say no. But if I first asked you to sign a petition supporting the cause, then later asked for a small $5 donation, and then gradually worked up to larger amounts over time, you'd be far more likely to eventually give that $500. That's the foot in the door technique. Start with a small request that's easy to say yes to, then gradually escalate. This works because of something called the consistency principle. Once someone identifies as the kind of person who does X, they're more likely to continue doing X, to maintain their self-image. Smart businesses don't ask for the sale right away. They ask for small commitments first. Download a free guide, take a quiz, watch a video, join a webinar. Each yes makes the next yes easier. The classic example is the free trial. Software companies don't immediately ask you to pay $99 per month. They ask you to try it free for 14 days. Once you've set everything up and integrated it into your workflow, you're way more likely to convert when the trial ends. I worked with a coaching business that was struggling with cold traffic conversions to their $2,000 program. We introduced a $27 mini course as the first step. Not only did this generate extra revenue, but the people who bought the mini course converted to the full program at 5 times the rate of cold traffic. But here's the advanced move. Make that first request related to identity, not just action. Don't just ask people to download a guide, ask them if they're the kind of person who cares about productivity. Once someone publicly identifies as having certain values or being a certain type of person, they're way more likely to take actions that align with that identity. That's why the most persuasive marketing doesn't try to change people's minds, it connects your product to beliefs they already hold. Trick 9. The psychology of price presentation. How you present your price has as much impact as the actual number. For example, which sounds more expensive? For example, $1,000 or free $83.33 per month? They're the same amount annually, but breaking it down makes it feel more affordable. People compare prices to their daily expenditures. That's less than my coffee habit, feels manageable, while a lump sum gets compared to other big purchases. But pricing psychology goes way beyond monthly payments. Every aspect matters: the font size, the placement, whether there's a dollar sign, or even the number of digits after the decimal point. Studies show that removing dollar signs from restaurant menus increases spending by around 8%. Why? Because the dollar sign triggers what psychologists call the pain of paying %. It reminds you you're spending money. The number of digits matters too. Research shows that shorter prices like $1,000 feel significantly less expensive than the same price written as $1,000 with extra zeros. Those extra zeros subconsciously suggest precision and therefore higher cost. Even the sound of the price when read aloud impacts perception. Prices with more syllables, like 2,739, feel larger than prices with fewer syllables. 2,700. I tested this with an e-commerce client who was selling a product for $39.95. We changed nothing but the presentation, showing it as $39 instead of $39.95. Conversion rate increased by 3%, which doesn't sound huge until you realize it required zero additional marketing spend, pure profit from a cosmetic change. For premium products, though, sometimes the opposite approach works better. Luxury brands often emphasize the price rather than minimizing it, because high prices signal high quality and exclusivity. The most powerful price presentation combines these psychological principles with strong value justification, showing the price alongside what customers get, especially if you can quantify that value as significantly higher than what they're paying. Trick 10. Cognitive ease. Your brain is constantly trying to conserve energy. It has a limited amount of processing power, and when something feels difficult to process, your brain associates that difficulty with risk or untrustworthiness. This is called cognitive fluency, and it's why simple, clear messaging consistently outperforms clever, complex messaging. When information is easy to process, we're more likely to believe it's true. Look at the most successful brands: Apple, Nike, Coca-Cola. Their messaging isn't complicated. Think different. Just do it. These aren't complex value propositions, but they stick because they're easy to process. When I worked with a SaaS company, their homepage headline was "Ent Revolutionizing Enterprise Communication Through AI-Powered Conversational Intelligence." We changed it to "An AI that understands customer calls better than humans." Bounce rates dropped by 23% and time on site increased. But cognitive ease goes beyond just copywriting. It affects every aspect of the customer experience. Simple websites with clear visual hierarchy convert better than busy ones. Products with fewer features often sell better than feature-rich alternatives. Checkout processes with fewer steps have higher completion rates. Brands with consistent visual styling feel more trustworthy. This is why Amazon put millions into their point-click patent. Every additional step in the purchase process increases cognitive load and decreases conversion rates. The key insight is that making things easy isn't just about convenience, it's about trust. When something feels easy to understand and use, we instinctively trust it more. I've seen businesses try to impress potential customers by showing how complex and sophisticated their solutions are. That's exactly backwards. The most persuasive approach is making something complex feel simple. Look at how Apple markets technically complex products. They don't talk about RAM or processing power, they say it's 2 times faster. They translate technical complexity into benefits that require zero mental effort to grasp. The businesses that understand and ethically apply these principles aren't just manipulating people, they're meeting fundamental human needs and desires. The most successful marketing doesn't try to force people to do something they don't want to do. It simply removes the obstacles between people and what they already want. These aren't tactics that will work today but be obsolete tomorrow. They're based on hardwired aspects of human psychology that have remained consistent for thousands of years. Trends come and go, but these principles will still be working 100 years from now. The question is, are you going to keep throwing money at marketing that ignores how the human brain actually works? Or are you going to align your business with these psychological principles? Because here's the thing, your competition is already using these principles whether they realize it or not. The businesses that dominate any market are rarely the ones with the best products. They're the ones that understand psychology. So start small. Pick one of these principles and test it in your marketing. See what resonates with your specific audience, and then systematically work your way through implementing each principle in your business. The results might surprise you. Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, make sure to subscribe for more content on psychology, marketing, and business strategy. Also, drop a comment letting me know which of these principles you're going to implement first.